To get started, we have these supply hoses. One has a red stripe on it for hot, one has a blue stripe for cold, and then this one is significantly shorter. Just so you know, there's a difference and there's no stripes on this one. So the plan here is to go ahead, and we've got 3 holes. So with the faucet laying in this orientation, we're going to go ahead and start with the blue cold line, and it's going to go in the bottom one. And these have rubber O-rings on them, so we won't need thread tape on it. It's just going to go in like so. Screw this in. The O-rings themselves will hold that tight. All right, so now that this is in, I'm going to take these 3 items here and put them underneath the sink on this threaded piece. So I'm going to put first the rubber washer on, then the solid washer on, and then thread this locking nut on. And then we're going to tighten it by turning these screws. All right, so I went and got a few of these. Looks like I'm only going to need a couple of them, but they're 12-inch extensions so that I can add it to that and reach over to the angle valve, the supply valves. Right, so we're starting with our 3 hoses. We'll start with the white, cut the zip ties off. Gotta be a little bit careful with that. You don't want to hurt these plastic hoses. And they've nicely capped these ends, which is good. Keeps any debris out. This is the valve we're going to be using, the black one. This one is a 1/2 inch, and this one is the 3/8, and we were using the 3/8. But they have either one that you might need, and they come with adapter fittings as well. So we're going to use this one. And how they have us do this is take off this nut. And this is going to end up being basically a compression fit. Put that on the hose. Push the hose onto the new valve. Make sure it seats all the way. Right there. And now we can go ahead and tighten this on. Again, I'm just going to snug it up. I'm just doing this ever so gently. Nothing super hard. One thing that's nice about this is when you're doing plumbing, if you get a drip, you can always tighten it, but I'd rather just take it easy. So now we'll go ahead and put this on the cold. This valve is going to go on the cold. The cold's going to attach to here. This will go into our unit right here. So it's cold water supplied, so be careful about that. You want to make sure this valve is going on the cold. What's nice about this setup is I can see what my cold is. The blue's cold, the red's hot. Again, this has a rubber gasket inside of it, so I don't need to put thread tape on it. So I'm just going to put it on right here. It should go on finger tight. Now I'm going to go ahead and tighten that. We'll go ahead and close that valve for now. When it's this way, it's closed. When it's this way, going with the line, it's open. Now we'll go ahead and add our cold water. So that's this one up here with the blue stripes. Has the rubber washer in there, so we don't need thread tape. Okay. Seems pretty tight. All right, now same thing with the red. We've added our 12-inch extension on this. The red, the hot, is just simply going to go this way over to our hot, like that. But we've got those 2 running. Now all that we have left is, this is our pure water hose up here. You can just see it's a little shorter than, it's half the size of these other 2. All right, so now we're doing our waistline, which is the red one. And so we're going to get a drill bit that's the same diameter as that. And the plan, you have 2 choices. You can put your drain waste hole in this part of the drain before you get to the P-trap, or you can put it in this part of the drain on the other side of the P-trap. We're going to put it over here on the other side for a simple reason is if you drain that into here, you'll hear it gurgling because the sound will travel right up through the drain and into your room. This P-trap is filled with water from this point down, and that stops the sewer smell coming from the sewer. Because there's water in this part right here, the smell can't come from the sewers outside into the house. The smells can't get through this water barrier, and neither can the sound. So we're gonna drain ours right up here. So let's go ahead and drill a hole. There we go. All right. Okay, this comes with a sticky pad that we're going to put over the hole. It kind of forms the gasket. Peel off the backing. And then we'll put that over the hole. And it's bigger than the hole, so there's plenty of room there. I'm going to put our red hose through here so I can line that up and make sure it goes in the hole. It just needs to go in, doesn't have to go very deep. Then we're just putting the nuts on the other sides of the screws. Spin those pretty close together by hand, and then once we get them pretty close, we'll go ahead and tighten with the screwdriver. There we go. So there you can see we've got it coming in through the top there. So now we've got white in and we've got red in, and all that's left is blue. The clip that just snaps onto the bottom there, and that kind of locks it in. And then if that ever needs to get pulled out to be removed, you just got to take that blue clip right there out. So we have our 3 colored lines all attached. Those are all good. So here's our unit, the Glacier Fresh Reverse Osmosis unit. And on the top, it reads feed, drain, and drink. So we want to do white, red, and blue. Let's bring all these hoses out over the top for starters. Be careful not to kink the hoses. It's about organizing it, so it's the best for you. So the first one I want to put on is the feed one, and that's this one. And these are just plugs in it. So we're going to do the feed one, and you can feel it bottoms out. And then we'll put our locking tab on it. And that locks it in. Or the drain line, and it's smaller. And then you can feel it, it's there. And this has a smaller locking tab. Okay, and that's on. We pull the last plug, which is our drink line. You gotta really feel it bottom out. And we put our last locking tab on, and this hose is bigger than the middle one. They are all good. And that is it. Really pretty simple. All right, this cover here is where the filters are. And they say to pull them out. And then make sure you hear it click. And these are your filters. And it's magnetic, which is really nice. Last but not least is when we supply the water, this needs to be more than 30 psi, or you have to get a booster pump. But our pressure here is more than 30. No problem. Okay, so it fits in there all snug. You know, I think I'll just bring it out, and this way we can check all our lines. And these hoses are long enough There's plenty of line there. So we don't have any issues supply-wise. All right, so now we just want to check and make sure we don't have any leaks. So we'll go ahead and turn these on real slow. We'll open this one up first, and this one. Oh, something's leaking. When we first put this on, that's the same as that one right there. There's a rubber washer in there. Well, for whatever reason, I don't know if the threading is too long on this valve, or if there should have been 2 rubber washers in there, but we had a leak right in between, right in that spot right there, where my finger is, where that nut spins on the top there. And it was because it probably didn't seat deep enough with that rubber washer. So they sent us a new valve with extra rubber washers, and we added the extra rubber washer, and that really did the trick and stopped that leak. When I assembled this the first time, this blue pipe didn't seat all the way down in there, and you have to really force it, and you'll feel it just boom, it'll go in. And so the first time I thought it was in all the way, and it wasn't. So when I turned this water on, when I turned that water on right there, by the time it came through the blue line here, it started leaking out just tons, and I knew I didn't have that in right. So I took all that off, took this clip out, pulled the hose out, reseated the hose, and everything worked fine. So this right here, you have to make sure that blue hose gets seated all the way in there. The same as with, you can put them in and they'll stop and you'll feel like, oh, it's all the way in, but you got to give it a good push and you'll feel it go boom, and it'll go down in, it'll seat all the way in. And then you put your locking clips in each of those places, and that holds these from being pulled out accidentally. That is turned in line with this hose, so water can flow up here and then over. Same with this one. The valve is turned in the direction of flow. Once we turn the water on, we are right at about 50 psi, which is about normal for our area. And I think they say you have to have at least 30. That's your clean water faucet right there. And they're supposed to let that run for, I think it was 20 minutes to fully go through all the filters, get all the air bubbles out, etc. All right, so all we have left to do is go ahead and put this back in the cabinet like we had it before. After you've got everything installed and you're ready to put this back in the cabinet, first make sure you run the water sufficiently to make sure that all functions properly so that you know you have no leaks. And I would probably wait a good hour just to make sure, go back under the cabinet, look around, make sure everything is cool and you don't have any leaks. After that, you're good to go. Another thing I would suggest is you've got these three filters here. I would go ahead and order a supply of these just to make sure you have enough for whenever these run out. Thanks Glacier Fresh for sending us this reverse osmosis system out. Overall, very simple to put together, and there's no charging the tank or anything like this. It does everything by itself. No electricity. It all runs by the power of the water coming in and going out. And as far as the install goes, I gotta say I really liked the simplicity of it, not having to have a filter stack and a charging tank. They've really designed this well. Hope this video helps. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.